right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about evaluating algebraic expressions. In this, we're going to be able to simplify algebraic expressions by using substitution. So, when we're evaluating, we're using the substitution properties. If two values are equivalent to one another, then one may replace the other. So, if A is equal to B, then A can be replaced by B in any expression. Key note here, whenever you are substituting a value in place of a variable, use parentheses around that number, okay? This is particularly important when we're talking about negative numbers. So, first step we're going to do is we're going to substitute your variables with the given values. We're going to put our parentheses around it. Then we're going to evaluate or simplify using order of operations. All right, so looking at this first example, it says evaluate negative a squared minus 4b if a is equal to negative 2 and b is equal to a negative 1. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute the variables with parentheses and the given value. So negative, we're a, well, that's a negative 2, squared minus 4, again, parentheses, my b is a negative 1. So pay attention there. I did replace a with negative 2 and b with negative 1. Okay, so now we're going to just use order of operations. I do have an exponent. In this case, we're not worried about the grouping symbols because those are just where we replaced our variable. So I do have an exponent. So negative 2 squared is 4, because negative 2 times negative 2 becomes a positive 4. So here we get negative. So I didn't drop this negative out here, okay, because it wasn't part of squaring the process. So that negative is still there, and it's still attached to the 4. In this case, I do not need my parentheses, and I could just write negative 4. Okay, so then we are still going to minus, well, 4 times a negative 1 is a negative 4. Now what happens when we have minus a negative number? Well, that just becomes plus. So negative 4 plus 4 gives me 0. All right, let's look at another one. Evaluate a squared times b times c minus b squared. If a is equal to 5, b is equal to a negative 1, and c is equal to a negative 4. So plugging in for a, I'm going to put 5, b is a negative 1, c is negative 4, and then the b again is negative 1. Okay, so those are the numbers I'm plugging in. So I get, all right, looking at example 3 and 4, we're given evaluate the following when a is equal to 4, b is equal to 2, and c is equal to negative 3. So for example 3 and example 4, we're going to be using the same set of numbers. So I've got 2 times b plus 4c squared over 4a squared minus 2b. Okay, so again, replacing, so we get 2 times, well, in this case, b is 2, plus 4 times c is a negative 3 squared over 4 times 4 squared minus 2 times 2. Okay, so we plugged everything in. Now, when we have a fraction, remember fraction's kind of like a grouping symbol. Oops. Okay, I'm going to work the top out, and then I'm going to work the bottom out. So in the top, what can I simplify first? I can do the exponent. Well, 3 squared is 9. Or, sorry, negative 3 squared is 9. So I have 2 times 2 plus 4 times 9 over, okay, in the bottom I have a squared as well. So I get 4 times 4 squared, which is 16 minus 2 times 2. Okay, next thing, we have nothing else, no exponents, no other grouping symbols. So now I'm going to do my multiplication in the top and the bottom. I'm going to come down over here so I've got lots of space. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 4 times 9, which is 36, over, okay, well, 4 times 16 is 64, minus 2 times 4, which is 4. Okay, so 4 plus 36 gives me 40, and 64 minus 4 gives me 60. And 40 over 60 simplifies. Okay, well, both are divisible by 20, so 20 divided by 40 is 2. So my answer is 2/3. A fractional answer is acceptable, so don't be confused when you see that. All right, let's look at this example. So again, we're using the same numbers we used for the last time for A, B, and C. So again, plugging in, get 3 times 4 times 2 plus C, which is a -3, minus 1 squared over 4. So again, we're going to work the top out. We do have grouping symbols this time, which is -3 minus 1 squared. So we know what -3 minus 1 is, which is a -4 squared over 4. Okay, so we can then do our exponent, which is 16. And then I can do my multiplication. I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 times 4 times 2 all together. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. Plus 16 all over 4. And we know 24 plus 16 is 40 over 4. Then we can simplify 40 over 4. Well, 40 divided by 4 is 10. So our final answer here is 10. All right, we're going to look at one last example here. So m times n minus the square root of mn when m is equal to 6 and n is equal to 24. Okay, so again, substituting in those variables. So we've got m is equal to 6 times our n, which is 24, minus the square root of 6 times 24. Okay, so because we have that radical symbol, we're going to work with that first. So 6 times 24 will wait. Okay, so, but the 6 times 24 underneath the radical, well, 6 times 24 is 144. And the square root, guys, your calculator will do this for you, the yellow ones. But the square root of 144 is 12. Basically, any number times itself. And that's what a square root is looking for. So in this case, the square root of 144 gives me 12. And since we know what 6 times 24 is, I'm going to go ahead and write that there. Okay, so we know 144 is 6 times 24 minus 12 gives me 132. All right, that's all I have for you in this video. I will